So, okay, I think let's get started. Yeah. So I can see people can see the screen, though it is laggy. I hope the recording goes well and the sound is also okay. So, excellent. Let's get started. Yeah. So, let's see the plan. Okay, let me have my environment set up first so that I like to have the editor and the browser side to side so that I can see the output immediately as I kind of code. So let's look at the plan today. Yeah. So what I'm going to do today is, I'm assuming that folks who will be joining or viewing it is kind of very, kind of a beginner kind of a thing. So I'm going to start with the empty folder, and we'll go from there. And then we're going to add a webpack to our project. So this is a module bundler where it will bundle our, kind of in programming language, it's kind of compile it to a to some output, and that output will be kind of served in our actual website, right? So this is kind of a bundler. We'll go deep into this. Yeah. Then we want to write some npm scripts to start our site, start our project. There will be some pre-processing and those things out here, right? We also want to see the babel, as ES6 is so fun, so we want to write some ES6 code, and babel is going to help us transpiling it to our ES5 JavaScript so that all our browsers understand it. We want to also see the linting for better quality. Yeah, and then finally comes a React, where we want to install the React and going to create our first component. Yep, so that is what we are targeting today. So I think let's get started. So as you see, there is nothing on the left hand side. So this is the editor I'm using, Atom. It's fantastic. I love it, but it can be anything of your choice. Yeah. So let's go ahead and create an empty folder. Okay, let's name it like basic setup. Yeah, because we are going to do that. That is our primary focus today. Okay, so you know this is the terminal right away out here as well. Terminal is like command prompt for Windows guys. Yeah. So so any project has kind of a metadata file, right? For .NET is web.config, and I don't know what is there for Java, but for any kind of JavaScript project, if it is a node based or npm based, we'll have something called as package.json. So package.json is like our metadata file for our project. So I just the command which I keyed in is like npm init out here, yeah, which is going to create our package.json. So I'm going to just go with our basic, uh, you know, basic options. So you should see a package.json out here. So this file, if you look at, it has a name of the project, what kind of version, which is the main file we're going to run, and author, license, those things. It also contains all the dependencies I'm going to install in this project. So that is one thing, and you can also see the scripts. So the npm scripts which I showed you a minute ago, we're going to write some scripts as well, to start our project and do some linting and all those things. So yes, so this is kind of our metadata file of our project. So the next thing I would like to always do is kind of also have a readme file. So readme file is like help file or kind of those things which will help. So obviously we want to when we do our actual project, we are going to push this to some git repo, right? So, and there will be obviously some other developers who will be working on this project. So for them to know how what are the installation steps, how to run the project and those things. So this is kind of a best practice for any kind of a JavaScript project. So right now I'm just going to say it's kind of a basic setup, and as we go ahead we want to fill this file up. Yeah, once we know our installation steps, once we know how we're going to run this. So I think with that, let's check our Trello. So yes, we did create an empty project, and empty folder and a package.json readme. So this is kind of, we are doing this obviously, but this is done now. So next thing what we want to do is, uh, we want to run the R project, right? So the first thing, if you're like me, I like to see something on the screen immediately, something or the other, like hello world or something. So for to run this project, we need two things, right? One is some index.html, right? Some HTML where we can render and see the output. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a source src source folder where we'll have all our source files, and obviously I'm going to create index.html. Yeah, so once I have that file, I'm going to have a basic HTML out here, and the title will be basic setup. Yeah, and we'll have some h1 so that I know what's going on here as well. Basic setup. Yeah, oops. So this is this is the file we like to see on the screen on the right. Before that, let me see if people are facing any problem. If everything is okay, let me check the chat out here. Hey Sunyat, my hand is streaming and the sound is getting a lapse in every 15-20 seconds. It's kind of lost intermittently. Okay, I see. Okay, not sure. Okay, I can see the stream health is gone bit down, but I hope the recording does help here. Yeah, so I can barely do anything right now, so let's hope it gets better. So yeah, I'll go a bit slow on the rendering. I won't switch the screens fast, so that at least you'll catch up later. Yeah. Okay, so the next step is obviously to run this project, right? So that is where Webpack comes in picture. Yeah. So let me open the Webpack, docs, and let's see what Webpack is and how is that going to help us. Okay, so this is Webpack, right? And let's see. It has a very nice description. Oops, sorry. Let me go to the getting started. What is Webpack? Yeah, quickly I'll introduce you what is Webpack. So Webpack, it's like if you're familiar with Grunt, Gulp, those things, it's very similar to that, and it's much more than that obviously, but yeah, you can I mean that is example which I can give, right? I mean, for .NET it's like a compiler. So if you see in this diagram, it is taking the JS files. It can take a coffee strip, it can take CSS, less files, PNG, images, anything it can take as its dependency, right? And it is going to do a bundler. So it is going to kind of, you can say, compile or transform these files into a single JS file, or it can also compile into a single CSS. You can have multiple CSS and you can combine those CSS into one, right? It can also do a less to CSS kind of pre-processing, right? So this is basically a bundler where we might, right now we want to have just one JS file, but obviously when the project grows, we want to have multiple JS files. So we, at the end of after compiling, it is going to compile to a single JS file, which we are going to include in this index.html, right? So that is the whole idea. The another good thing about Webpack is it also gives a very slim server so that we can run our project. Yeah, so let me take you there. So the Webpack dev server, right? So this is what we're going to have it on a project. So as you see, what we are really concerned about is not concerned, basically what we want really is like, the Webpack dev server is little node server, express server, right? Which uses the Webpack middle layer and blah blah blah. So we are not interested, we are just interested in this first statement out here. It is a node server which will help us to serve the website, serve this page, and we are able to see it right on the right hand side. So this is, so what is node is like, node can be used in many other ways, but right now the way we are using node is just for serving our website. Okay, so that is the whole plan. And Webpack dev server, it is going to help us transforming the the Webpack bundle as such, so that it is going to serve us both ways, right? So that is why we are going to go with the Webpack. And yes, so what it is telling us to go ahead and install it first. Yeah, so let's go ahead and install Webpack. And yep, my internet is really bad, it seems. Yeah, so let's go ahead and do npm install. Yeah, so I'm going to copy that command. Along with the Webpack, we also need the Webpack dev server out here. So these are the two things we need. Yeah, so as you see, we are installing these two packages in the dev. You can see we are saving it -dev. So what will happen is, in package.json you would see these dependencies getting installed under dev dependencies. So why dev dependency? Because we don't want these things to be kind of installed when we deploy this application on any of the web server like Amazon or those things, right? So we just want this to be part of the dev. And yeah, that's about it. That is the reason we are installing it in the dev mode, right? Looks like the internet is really slow because this happens really fast. I'm not sure what's wrong. Let's hope it installs. Let's check what we have on our chat. I believe the output will be same as currently seeing. Yeah, sorry dude, I mean, can't help you there. mm, let's see what's the stream. It's still in orange. That is really bad. I mean, sorry folks. Let's get back to our project. Let's see if yep, it's been installed, and you can see the dev dependency is getting installed out here, right? So with that, we also need a index.js file, you know and we're just going to have a console.log saying that it's a basic setup. Yeah, so, and we're going to serve this index.js in our index.html, right? So as you see the Webpack dev server out here. Okay, okay, I went to installation steps, but anyways, the Webpack dev server out here, it is telling me to create a webpack.config.js, and this is the config.js which it is going to read from and then run the project. So this is kind of a mandatory to have. So let me quickly go ahead and create this file, webpack.config.js. Yeah, so I have this file. It's pretty simple, right? It has an entry and it has output, right? So the our entry is going to be our index.js, right? As we want the console to be printed in the console statement which we wrote, right? And we're going to have more in our index.js. So we want that. So this is a very basic step. At least we should be able to see that console statement, right? So here instead of main, and what this, it's accepting an array, right? So it says like you can have multiple entries, but right now let's keep it so simple and let's have only one entry. Yeah, and that one entry is like only that index.js. But right now the webpack out here, it's taking this as our base directory. So let's have a context here and tell webpack that our context is only the uh, the source folder, src folder, and not everything, and don't start from the root. Yeah, so I'm going to say src, just to tell him that this is the source you need to listen for, and that is where it is going to find the index.js. Yeah, and in the output, what it is, the default default webpack config is telling me, it's going to output it into the build. but I like to call it as a dist folder. It's more of a distribution than a build, right? So it is also, saying that it's the public path is assets. Let's not get this in the mix. It will add more. Let's keep it as simple as possible. So very simple. The entry is index.js. The output is going to be in the dist folder. We don't have it right now, but we want to have it soon. And the file name is going to be bundle.js. So right now we just have one file, index.js, that is going to get transformed into bundle.js, right? So without further delay, let's manually create for now, a dist folder, yeah, and let's have our file which is index.html. I know I'm duplicating the file, but just to see whether our webpack dev server is running, I'm going to just create it for now, the same file which you have in the source, but later we're going to do some npm scripts to copy this file into a dist folder, right? But right now let's keep it simple. Let's see if we can see this index.html. So to run this dev server, here is the command which it has given us, right? So webpack dev server, and this is the context base. So I'm going to just, oops, I've copied here, I should be copying here. Okay, let me have some space here. Yeah, okay. So right now it is saying the context base, it was assuming it as a build, but our base is dist, right? So if I run this, yep, it's saying that, it has created a bundle.js, and it is the packages, the bundle is valid, right? So if we browse localhost 8080, yep, we can see the index.html is been served, right? So this index.html is getting served, not from the source. So, and we also don't have the one more thing which we forgot here is, though the bundle.js, it's saying that it has kind of transformed it to bundle.js or index.js file, but we haven't included it, right? So there is src bundle.js, yeah. So if I save this, I rerun, I see a console dot statement out here. Now, yep, this is a console dot statement which we wrote in our index.js, right? But the obvious question is, we don't see that bundle.js in the dist folder. The reason being that the webpack dev server, it builds the bundle.js in memory and keeps it in memory. It doesn't save it in the file system, so that there will be less overhead and less IO operations, and it will reflect immediately on the on our, the moment you change anything out here, right? So if you say 123, I save this file, immediately the bundle compiles. So to have this operation really fast, it keeps it in memory, and so that you'll see the output right away. Yeah, so that is the reason you don't see that file getting saved in our dist folder, as it keeps it in memory. Okay, so I think with that, we are kind of, let's check our Trello, yeah, whether we have done with everything out here. So yes, we did install our dev and webpack. We did create a webpack config, and we could also run the project. Yep, so this is kind of done for us. So the next step we are going to do is, have some npm scripts in play. So why npm scripts? Obviously for the simple reason that, it's kind of, it feels so uniform to say npm start. You can have your script hidden inside npm start, and there are many more things. You can do some pre-processing, which we're going to do now, right? As we're going to copy the files from source to dist folder, so that is one pre-processing we're going to do. The other pre-processing, we want to clear the dist folder before copying it, so that is another pre-processing we have to do, and later more will come, like linting and those things. So npm scripts will, it's of immense help, so we're going to go that route, right? So yeah, so let's do the first step, which is, let's go ahead and write a one npm script, which is the start. So if I say, and the start is our first command, and we, okay, let me copy here. Yeah, come on. Ah, shit. I think it's easier out here, right? Yep. Instead of build, I have to do the dist, right? Okay, dist. So I just save this. Now it is so easy to write this. So npm start is going to obviously run this command, right? Simple. So the other thing what we're going to do is, um, we want to clear the dist folder, and we want to copy this index file into the dist, right? So there are two good utilities, I have, which we need to install. One is the cpy-cli, and another is the rimraf. So as the rimraf doesn't, it's not friendly name, I would say, but what these two packages are going to do is, the cpy is going to, looks like I have some escape characters out here. Yeah, so let me just type it for npm install cpy cli rimraf save dev, and this is also going to be in our dev dependency. Okay, so the cpy is going to copy the index into the source, or rather copy any file. So it is basically used for copying, but I can use the linux command for this, but if I use those it might not work on the windows machine. So this is kind of platform agnostic commands, where you can use these commands in your windows machine as well, right? And so same goes with the rimraf. The rimraf is going to clear the disk folder for us, and yeah, so I can obviously go and clear with the linux command, but it will not work on windows. So let me go ahead and write few scripts. Clean dist, yeah, and rimraf dist, right? And the other is cpy, okay, copy files, I would say a very generic name, because we might copy more files later, right? So copy command, I'm going to copy it from my Trello card, which I already have, because it's a bit I might go wrong here, right? So here is the command we have out here. I'll explain what this is, right? Okay, go back. Okay, so rimwrap disk, pretty simple. It's going to clear this folder. The other command is copy index html to dist folder, and I'm setting the current working directory as source, and that is the reason we want to go one level up and say, this is the output folder. So anything you write before this, you can say, the last parameter of the cpy command is the output, rest all is the source. So if you have index dot index.js, you might want to copy, so you can have whole list of source, and the last parameter should be the destination. So simple, right? So let's run each file, each command at a time, so that we know everything is working, and then we can combine these two into one script. So npm run clean dist. Okay, so we have a dist folder out here, you can see. So when I run this, it's going to clear it. Yep, it did it. And the next which I'm going to do is copy it. Npm run copy files. Yep, so it is copying us out here. Let's see. Okay, what we missed on the source is the script, right, which we had earlier, bundle.js, right? So the next step which I'm going to do is, we want these two things as a preprocessor of the start, right? So let me write a pre-start, yeah, and let's run this command npm run clean disk. That is the first command we want to have, and then what we want to have is npm run copy files. So these are the two things which I want before I run the project, right? So that it will be a clean build, and yeah, those things. So let's see if things are working. npm start, right? So you would see Okay, something did not work. What happened? Let's see 1 2 3 so that we know the things are getting copied here. I always do this. I don't save the files and I keep wondering what's wrong. So I saved it, and you see some more things happened, right? It also ran the dist, it also ran the copying command. Yeah, so we should have the latest index out here. Yes, and if we go ahead and refresh this, oops, what just happened? No, did the index is right out here? Why is it not serving the latest index page? I do have a H. Ah, how bad. Oh my god, I did the title as 1 2 3. But yeah, you got the point, right? I was hoping to see the H1 out here as 1 2 3, right? That was more visible. So let me save this and start again. Yeah. Yep. So this is what I was expecting. Anyways, so let's check our Trello again. Yeah. So yes, we were doing some pre-processing. We did install these two things. Clearing the disk folder, yes, we are able to do that. Copying is done. And yes, it's all part of the pre-processing of the start command. Yep, so this is kind of done for us. So the next is Babel. I love this thing. So let's go ahead and open the Babel site and see what they have to say, right? You know, they explain much better than me, right? So why not just go ahead and read few lines out of the site. So here it is. So Babel is a JavaScript compiler, right? And it explains everything, right? Use next generation JavaScript today. So yeah, so next generation is ES6, ES7. You know, we can also write React and compile to a JavaScript. So this all explains, right? So let's go ahead and install it. Okay, so you see there are many, kinds of installation we can do. But right now we are interested only in Webpack, but you can go through this site and see many things out here. Before doing this, I just want to quickly check if we have the stream and chatting is okay. If okay, good. There are 4 people watching me. Good, I like it. And I see there is a new guy. Hey, how are you? uh cool. Sorry, I don't understand these, but anyways, I hope you're watching me and streaming is good. I can see the streaming is still in orange, but I hope the recording goes well. Let's get back to our project. What we are going to do is install Babel. Yeah, and let's go ahead and install Babel, and this is also a dev dependency, as this is going to help us only in development, since compiler is going to compile us and give us the bundle.js, and this is all going to happen in only in development mode, right? So let's go ahead and do further steps. So since we are using the Webpack installation of Babel, so it is telling me to have a module inside our configuration. I'll explain what this is. So let's go ahead and copy that first, and then we'll see what we can do about it. Yeah, so let me have some more real estate here. Okay, so it's saying us, there is a loader called Babel loader. So what it is going to do is it is going to look for all our JS files. Obviously, it is going to exclude our module, the node modules which we install, right? And all our JS files are going through this loader, right? So the loader you can think of, as a it's going to take all the JS file. We are going to write some ES6 code out here, right? ES6, ES7. So it's going to take all our ES6, ES7. It's going to go through that loader and the loader is going to output ES5, which is going to understood by all our browsers. I mean, I love Chrome, but there are other browsers like IE and those i6 and whatnot. So those understand only ES5 right now, right? For to run our website and to you know use the latest and greatest of JavaScript and still run the site on the older browsers, we have to do this. We have to compile our ES6 to ES5. So that is why this loader is going to help us out here. Yeah. Yeah, so that is what this is going to do for us, right? And the second step, what we need to tell Babel is, what kind of preset we would like to use. So quickly, I want to read this note for you guys. So pre 6 pre 6 version, Babel enabled certain transformations by default. However, Babel 6 onwards does not ship with any transformations, enabled, right? So transformations, as in, there were, if we installed a Babel right now out here, right? So right now the Babel has, it's pretty lightweight since it doesn't have any transformations inbuilt. So transformations, as in, some latest presets which help us transform the ES6 ES7 to ES5 code. So it doesn't come with it, so it is telling me to install a preset, right? So let's go ahead and install the preset. We'll also see what the latest preset it's all about. So here is a link which will tell us what the latest preset is. So yeah, so as you see, the latest preset it contains like ES6 ES7, those kind of, so you can, when I say I want to use the latest preset, I can take the advantage of these, right? So the next step, once it installed, it's telling me to create a Babel RC configuration file and just let Babel know what kind of preset you're going to use. Yeah, so let's go ahead and create that. Yeah, so touch Babel RC. So this is going to create a new file for us. I'm going to just copy this instead of typing to make it fast. Cool. So with this, I guess we are all set to write ES6. So let's reiterate what we all did. We did install Babel to enable us to write ES6 syntax. So, and the next what we did, we told Webpack to, whenever Webpack finds a JS file, and it is going to go through this loader to compile our ES6 into a normal ES5 syntax. And so that is that. So Babel is going to help Webpack to do that. And we have also told Babel to have a latest preset so that Babel knows what how the transformation is going to be, right? So let's, instead of writing a simple console statement, let's write some ES6 out here, right? So test ES6, right? So this is a new way of writing functions, the fat arrow functions. So let's see console statement ES6, testing ES6, right? And I have to call this function, right? So we want to in our bundle.js, when we run this, we want to see how it looks, how it is transforming it to ES5, right? So let's run our project, npm start. Yes, it's saying it's valid, the bundle is valid. Let me run this, and you can see the console statement is getting printed out here, right? Let's look at our bundle.js, right? So as you clearly see, it has been transformed our ES6 syntax to ES5, right? So this syntax can be understood by IE6 as well. So that is the reason we can take the latest technology advantage and still have that comfort or peace of mind that it is going to run on all the browsers, right? So that is why I kind of love Babel a lot. Babel is also going to help us in the React, where it is going to take the React syntax and compile it to our ES5. So yeah, that all is going to come. But let's check our Trello now, whether we have everything done. Okay, Need for Babel, yes, I guess we understood what is a need. We also installed Babel and configured our Webpack. We installed the preset. Yep, so this is kind of done. The next thing is ESLint. So ESLint, right? I love this guy. So ESLint is like, which will help us do a better code. ESLint has many good features. It is going to help us in what do you call, it is going to watch us code, and it is going to give us tips there and there. It is going to tell me which variables have been used and which not, and all those things. So there are many rules which you can use. So let's see in action, right? So let's see what it does for us, right? So first thing first, we're going to install ESLint package. So I have a few notes out here. So it's had a whole host of packages. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to simply modify package.json. I know this is not the right practice to do because you might mess up your package.json, right? But just in interest of time, I'm going to do this. And okay, there was some bad character there. I am going to save the package.json, and I'm going to say npm install, so that will install the packages which are not part, I mean, which I've just included out here, right? So as you see, it's going to install ESLint. It is going to install some plugins for that. Plugins are basically some rules and those things which we want our ESLint to look for. And it is also going to also installing the ESLint watch, which will help us, so that let lint watch us code, and let it tell us right there and there, right, what is wrong, what is right. So yeah, so as you see, the package has been installed. So let's see what is the next step we want to do out here. Okay. So yes, so it is telling me to create a ESLint configuration file. So let's go ahead and create that. uh, so let's say .eslint rc. Okay, now there are host of things, so I'm going to do is I already have a project and the rules which I'm comfortable with, and kind of I like about. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to simply copy these rules from one of my project. So I'll take you to this. Yeah, so let me just copy, let me remove this so that there is no more confusion. And this is our file. I'm going to paste it. Yeah, so as you see, so ESLint configuration is extending from some of the recommended settings of ESLint. It is also having some errors and warnings, some plugins. So basically, I'm extending some of the rules from already predefined plugins, right? It is also I've also gone ahead and imported some React plugins. The environment which I'm setting is ES6, so that ESLint understands what I'm writing, and so that it doesn't give me any errors. It understands I'm going to write the ES6 syntax. And there are few rules. If I write a console statement, it is going to give me a warning. I can say so these are the levels 0, 1, 2. So if I say 2, it is going to say it is not going to allow me, right? And 1 is like it's a warning that it's going to warn me. If I set this to 2, it is going to say it's an error, right? So yeah, so there are many rules out here, right? So you can go through it later. There's a GitHub link in the video description. You can go later on this. Yeah, so basically this is what it is. So we want to lint this. So I'm going to write a npm script so that by npm we should, so I'm going to copy this command from my Trello card. So here is a command for that. So let me copy this quickly. So as you see, this is the ESLint command, and what it is going to look for is our web.config, sorry, oh, why do I say webpack.config, and our source folder, right? So source folder right now it just has one JS file, but over the period we're going to have more, right? So and is also going to look package.json for the syntax. So let's see what it is going to tell us. So I'm going to say npm run lint. So let's see what it has. So yes, as you see, it is suggesting some good things. So for webpack config.js, what it's telling, unexpected var, since we have set the environment to ES6, so it is telling us use let or const. So these are the ES6 way of declaring variables. So it is telling us instead of var, why don't you use let or const, right? So let's go ahead and change that. The other thing it is telling me is you have a console.log. So we have a, I mean, at least I had a habit of writing console.log all over the place, and it creates so much of noise and confusion. So that is the reason, we I have this rule in my ESLint configuration, so that it keep telling me, you don't have to write that. But right now, just for simplicity purpose, I want this. So we're going to disable this rule, ESLint disable line, yeah, so that we take I mean lint doesn't bother us for this line. The other thing, let's correct this. I'm not going to change the path variable, so I'm going to declare this as a constant. So let's rerun this, and I hope it's come as clean. Yep, there are no errors now. So I'm not going to do every time the lint and then do our project start. So I want the lint to be part of the mix, right? So let's change some of our script here. Let's add a lint watch command so that it watch me while I code. So I'm going to copy that command here. So I'm going to copy this, and I'm going to have part of C bad. Fine. No. Oh yes. Fine. Okay. So as you see, I have written one more script which is going to run lint, which is the command out here, in a watch mode, so that it runs continuously, right? I've saved this, but I haven't told lint watch to be part of the start process, right? So I want to run this out here, our dev server, as well as the lint watch parallelly. So there is another command which I want to install, which is npm, where is it? Oh yes, npm install this one. This will help us in running the commands in parallel. Yeah. So yep, I always have something wrong when I copy it from Trello. Npm install, npm run all, save dev. Till it install, let's check. Okay, the watch level has gone down. People are quitting. No problem. I hope the recording goes well. The live streaming is still in orange. Internet. Okay, fine. See, it's my internet is really bad. That is the reason all those problems. Come on. Okay. Fine. So it has installed it. Let's see what Trello has to say after that. So it is telling me to modify the npm start to run the processes parallelly, right? So I'll explain you what this is. So let me rename this to dev, yeah, and let me have another oops, start, and like this. So self-explanatory, it's running this command which you just installed. It's going to run parallel the lint watch and start dev, which is this, right? So let's go ahead and run this. I have npm start. Cool. So I'll quickly show you how lint is going to help me. So if I write a parameter, and I'm not using this parameter in my function body, right? So it should immediately, okay, something is not right here. It's not watching me. The lint is not watching me. Let me quickly check what's wrong. Let me, it could be the problem. Watch. Okay. Oops. Sorry. Yeah. Mm, it failed because I see. I see. I see. Okay. I think I did it the wrong way. Okay. Okay. Now, what it is telling me, the param is never used, right? This is the error it gave me in my, while it was linting the code, right? So, I hope I got the watch command wrong, yeah? Just give me a moment. Oh, okay, let me open my other project quickly because I have that thing right there, right? Open that project. Let me quickly copy that. Could be some bad character. There were two hyphens. I see. Okay. Thank you, project. Go away now. Mm, here. Fine. 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 Okay. Yes, it's watching me now, right? So if I take this parameter out, it's watching me and now it is saying clean. Cool. Yep. Now I think so. I hope you got a sense of why linting is important. I mean, we wrote a very basic code, but believe me, when you have a huge code, the code base grows. I mean, this helps us so well. This works so well. Yeah. So I've installed it. I've created RC. Yes, this is done. I'm watching it. This, yep, and I'm running the things parallelly. So with this is done. Yay, now the React. Okay, so installing React, and we go to write finally some React code. That is what the course was all about, right? But let me pause here for a moment and let me tell you, this basic setup is can be used for any project, not just React. We can have any JavaScript framework on top of this, since it has nothing to do with React. Right now what we all wrote, we can write ES6, great. We can lint our code, amazing. We have a bundler which bundles our code. So all this stuff has nothing to do with the React. You can have any framework on top of this, like Ember or Angular. I'm not sure on Angular whether it goes well with Webpack, but definitely Ember and Vanilla JS and Vue and those things. So any framework can sit on top of this basic setup. So that is the reason I wanted to cover this, starting with the empty folder and building on top of it. So yep, so just wanted to take a pause and explain that. So let's install React now. Yeah, so thank you, Babel. We are done with you. So React docs we would like to open, and let's install React first. Yeah, so this is the site for React. Why my internet is so okay? Getting started. Installation first, then we'll come to hello world. Yeah, so installation is telling me to have two packages. Yeah, one is React, another is React DOM. So let's go ahead and install that. Yeah, and you can see it's telling me to install it in just save and not save dev. Now since we want React to be installed when we kind of deploy this project on one of on the production servers, so that is the reason we are saving this as part of dependencies. Yeah, where is it? Yeah, here, dependencies and not dev dependencies, right? So I hope you got the difference, right? Yep. So after React, we want to write some React code out here. So let's go to the hello world example here, and let's copy paste the code out here. Yeah. Yes. And it's using some of the packages which we installed, the React DOM and the React out here. So we might want to include these, right? React from React. There's a package we install, and import React DOM from React DOM. Yeah. Now let's, okay, one more thing. So let me explain you what this is. So from this library, it is going to invoke a method called render. And yes, it's very strange to look at right now, as a beginner to React. We have this weird, right? We are writing some HTML inside a JS file, right? I mean, it was the other way around earlier, right? But this is what we call a JSX syntax, right? Writing HTML inside, writing JavaScript inside HTML. What is doing is the render method is taking two parameters. One is the JSX code, the other is the DOM element which you want to render this JSX code into. So this is the standard JavaScript, right, where it is getting element by ID, a root element. We don't have that, so let's go ahead and have a root element. So I'm going to have a div, yeah, and which has an ID called root. All right now the root doesn't have anything, but what we are expecting to have this h1 inside that div, right? And that is what the React is going to insert for us. Okay, so I think let's go ahead and run this. What do you think this is going to get? This, we want to see this display or not? Let's take a look. Npm start. Oh no. And yeah, this, I was expecting this to happen, as the Babel, Babel is doing the transformation, right? And Babel doesn't understand this code. What the hell are you writing? You're writing HTML inside JavaScript, right? So it doesn't understand this. So to understand Babel, what we are writing, right? We need to tell Babel that what I'm writing is some React code, so you better understand. So in that case, we are going to, yes, you guessed it right, we are going to install a preset, as we install the latest preset, right, for our ES6 code. Likewise, we are going to install a preset for React. So let's quickly go ahead and install that preset. Okay, we don't want a Babel command line, so we don't want that to get installed, so I want to take that away. Let's have some more real estate. Okay, but I guess you got it right? Okay, install. This is going to install the preset for us. And one more thing which I forget is to mention that preset out here, right? So we want to mention that, yeah, along with the latest preset, we also want Babel to understand the React preset, right? So let me save this, and after this installs, come on, okay, after the install, see if we can see some of the plugins it is installing is the JSX syntax, right? So now when I run this, it is going to understand the React code which I'm writing. Yeah, so everything has been built, so you can see more steps happening now, right? So the Babel have understood our React code, and if we refresh our code out here, yep, we see the hello world which we were expecting out here. So if you inspect here, so you can see inside our root we have this h1, right? There are another, okay, I was thinking of taking you through the React Chrome extension, but I think that it's better to see that later, yeah, not to add more confusion. So I can see the H1 getting rendered inside the root, right? And yep, so that is what we're expecting, right? So with that, I think we installed, yes, we wrote some JSX, we made Babel to understand JSX, we installed it, and we also did this. So yep, this is done. So yeah, we're going to write an our first component in React. So let's go ahead and do that. So let's see how that looks. Okay, so I'm going to write my first component is equal to react dot create class. So this is how you write your component in React, and there is a mandatory method one need to have is the render method. Return, and obviously the render method is going to return something, some JSX which we want to write. Yeah, so I'm going to write h1 right now. Yeah, h1, I'm going to say my first component. Yeah, right, we are happy. Okay, so this is our first component. So again, this is like any other DOM element, right? So we want to treat the same way like any other DOM. So I'm going to save this. It is going to build our bundle again. If I run this, yay, we see our first component. And yep, so we just did our first component, but in real life we are not going to have all our components in a single file, right? So let's go ahead and have this component in a separate file. So my first component.js, so let's have this in a separate file. We like componentization, right? So let's do that. So it's using the React library. So yes, we want to import that. Import React from React. So every file is a separate module, right? And every module is should be independent, you know. So it should have all the dependencies imported at the start of it, so that it's kind of independent module. And any module, we would like to expose it to the project so that any file can just import it and start using it, right? So the next step is like export default. We would like to export this module so that the other files can just import this module and just render it, right? So here we want to do import this from, this is the file path. Yeah, since the file is right here. So yep, nothing else. So I save this and I run this. Yep, we see the same output, but how do you make sure it's coming from a separate file? My first component from separate file, right? I save this, I rerun, and no, something bad, right? From separate file is not working. Let's see why. Did I not save anything? No, it's all there. Is the bundle not okay? I don't know what, for some reason it didn't refresh, but yeah, as you can see the component is coming from a separate file and you're able to see it. Yep, so with that, yes, we created a first element and we also separated it into a new file. So I think we are kind of done with our agenda for today. I hope it made some sense what I was talking. I know my internet was sucks, but I hope it's been recorded properly. Yeah. So next step I would like to take is to have this, what we did is basic setup and just a introduction, right? So next step I would like to take is a actual real life project, and we want to build a product out of it. So I was thinking to going for a simple e-commerce site where we have a product list and we'll have product details, and there we can have some routing, some application state and those things. So that is what my plan is. But if you like to have something else as a project, then please have your comments in the YouTube video, which I'm going to share the link with you guys. Yeah, and I hope you liked it. Thank you everyone, thanks for joining, thanks for your time, and